Good evening. Making the headlines on Mello TV Evening News at 8. Some taxi operators stage protests across the island and baby injured in a 3-vehicle collision. And now, the details. Yesterday into earlier today, taxi drivers from the One Voice Taxi Association and several public transportation providers in St. Catherine halted their services, which impacted the commuter population in Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Mary, and St. Anne. They expressed that they have been living in fear and operating at the mercy of the government, the legal system, and the discretion of the police.
I planned a withdrawal service for the operators in the public transportation sector today to press the government of some of the concerns that we have as it regards to operating within the KMTR, the new Road Traffic Act, and the ticketing system. We have been meeting with government over the last 3 months in regards to the outstanding ticket and also in regards to the KMTR in which we operate. We have sent 4 letters to government over a 3 to 4 month period, and up to date we have not gotten a response from the government. The 15th to the 16th of November 2022 we sent a 5th letter, and to date we have not gotten any response from that letter. And so the concerns that we have are getting more and more, and the deafening ears of the government is causing more effect on the public transportation sector as it relates to the operators and to some extent the investors. So today we decided to withdraw service, and some of the items on the agenda is we were promised that if we pay our tickets before the 31st of January 2023, we would not have lost our driver's license. Well, what is happening in the court, you pay the fine, which the fine are double and triple in some cases, and still lose your driver's license. We were told that the tickets before 2018 are going to be null and void, so we don't have to pay them. But nonetheless, when we go to the court says that they don't operate off announcement and press release, they operate off laws and gazette. And as far as they are concerned, those tickets have to be paid.
Persons waiting for taxis could be seen on both sides of the road between Kitson Town and Spanish Town, while the drivers passing in empty cars could be heard honking their horns. The buses from Linstead and the surrounding areas, as well as those traveling from Portmore to Spanish Town, continue to run despite the strike. The strike received the support of a significant number of independent route taxi operators throughout the island, even though it was not forthcoming from other major taxi associations. Bus and taxi drivers went on strike in November of last year in protest against the government and in pursuit of a traffic ticket amnesty.
Most of them law where them are pass, it don't make sense. You understand? And we feel it, and not even taxi driver alone I feel it. You see me? I say, from once a driver carry, I feel it. You see me? So it don't make sense. And next thing again, where them come in with child seat for in a public transport, it don't make sense, because I don't see that possible.
Well, about the new Road Traffic Act, even I myself are not fully aware of most of the clause and the act within the new law. There was no education program granted. We have to go and do research on ourselves to educate ourselves about the new Road Traffic Act. There was no education program. The fines are so high, and when you look at the minimum wage, when you look at the economy and the growth of the economy, one ticket, $10,000, $9,000, the economy cannot facilitate that. We don't have that. This don't make no sense. Where we are get the money from? Most of the drivers within the sector don't own a car. They don't own a motor vehicle. Everybody are struggling. Even at this time, drivers are working because it's like you work today, you can't save. When you save today, you take it shop for dinner later, or breakfast the next morning. So you have to come back out, come work the next day to earn a living. That's how Jamaican people operate on a day-to-day basis. We have to shop, earn, and shop. There's no lot of saving. If you put on money for 1 week, next week you have to spend it.
In the meantime, on the other side of the island, numerous irate taxi drivers who operate on the Hopewell in Hanover to Montego Bay in St. James route earlier today ceased operations in protest against the recently modified road traffic laws. The government was criticized by the taxi drivers, who claimed that the new revised traffic laws were excessively obscene and unjust, and that they would make them easy prey for law enforcement. The modified seatbelt law can now result in an operator losing his driver's license within a month, according to one taxi operator, who alleged that it's a money-making initiative and they will be forced to buy driver's licenses like bread every month.
We are putting up resistance against the new amendment traffic law that they implement and the taxi operators, because 4 seatbelt tickets would take away your license, because one license carry only 14 points, and what they did now, 1 point now, 1 seatbelt ticket done is 4 points now. 1 seatbelt ticket take 4 points from your driver's license, and only 14 points in a driver's license. So you can get 4 seatbelt tickets and you lose your driver's license. So I realize it's a money making. So they want us to go and buy license like bread every year or every month. You know what I mean? So this is why we're standing up against this new road traffic law. Not only the child seat, many more things. If my friend broke down, me can't pull him. Right?
Every car come with a tow bar. Every vehicle come with a tow bar.
Fair enough. Hold on again.
Vehicle, manufacture vehicle with a tow bar. You have a tow bar.
Very
so
good.
You can tow the vehicle.
If the driver intoxicated and drinking, and me not drink, and me no know say driver drunk, how me forget $12,000 ticket for the driver? Impossible. Yeah? So we now work with that. And not until them come address the nation. And we don't want to hear no police for use no discretion. Because police now use discretion. You have to stamp and sign and seal and say, we don't want that anymore. You hear? If not, we now withdraw. We are going to block you again and again.
In other news tonight, today, Jamaica and the world celebrates the birth of Jamaica's legendary cultural ambassador, the Honorable Robert Nesta Marley. Prime Minister Andrew Holness stated that Bob Marley is considered as one of the greatest musicians of all time, and his influence on society is still felt today. Mr. Holness further stated that his music has brought people together, crossing cultural and political boundaries, and has helped to promote understanding and unity in a world that often seems divided. In the same breath, Jamaica continues to make waves in the music fraternity. Congratulations are in order for Kabaka Pyramid, who won his first Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album at the 65th Grammy Awards over the weekend. Kabaka Pyramid won the Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album with his sophomore album, The Calling. Continuing with the news, yesterday at about 10:45 a.m., 39-year-old Marvin Palmer, also known as Bummy of Woodglen Avenue in Kingston 10, was fatally shot after a confrontation with a policeman on Windward Road in Kingston East. The two men reportedly got into a dispute at about 10:45 a.m. at the intersection of Mountain View Avenue and Windward Road, following a minor collision. Apparently, after identifying himself, the policeman was accosted by one of the combatants, whom he allegedly then shot. Both the Inspectorate of Professional Standards and Oversight Bureau, IPROBE, and the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, were informed of the incident. the Corporate Communications Unit verified the occurrence. Over in Kingston Western, the police have listed several individuals as persons of interest. The following individuals are to report to the Denham Town Criminal Investigations Branch, CIB, by 6 p.m. tomorrow. Kareem Martin, otherwise called Chubbles. Nakia Campbell, otherwise called Bolo. Stuart Burton, otherwise called Bing. Andre Barracks, otherwise called Boops and Rasta. Nicoy Waldron, otherwise called Bonup and Bondog. Kemar Jones, otherwise called Kisses. Tory Ball. Damian Walker, otherwise called Shines. Debeen Bryce, otherwise called Dollar Boss. Raheem Ball. Corey Cleary. Kevin Smith, otherwise called Kev. A man known only as Pepper Boy. A man known only as AA. Detectives have identified these persons as individuals who may be able to assist them with ongoing investigations in the division. The following individuals, who are all of Arnett Gardens, Kingston addresses, have been listed as wanted and are being asked to report to the police immediately. They are Antonique Ellis, otherwise called Noki. He is wanted for murder. Shadane McKenzie, otherwise called Murphy, and Philippines. He is wanted for murder. Charles Lundgren, otherwise called Charlie, wanted for murder. Additionally, anyone with information that can assist to locate these persons is being asked to urgently contact the Denham Town CIB at 876-948-6443, Crime Stop at 311, the JCF tip line at 811, or the nearest police station. Continuing with the news tonight, a 3-vehicle collision involving a baby occurred in Great River, Hanover this morning. According to reports, the driver of an SUV was traveling from Hopewell in Hanover toward Montego Bay in St. James at about 8 a.m. The driver of a sedan traveling in the opposite direction attempted to do a U-turn while crossing the Great River Bridge and drove into the pathway of the SUV. The SUV's driver had to apply his brakes to avoid a collision, but by doing so, this caused him to crash into another Honda SUV that was following closely behind. 5 passengers in each SUV, including the infant, suffered injuries and sought medical attention at the hospital. The police were summoned and the driver, who attempted to make the U-turn, was charged. Still making Mello TV news, at the opening ceremony of the World Meteorological Organization's regional conference held in Kingston today under the theme Increasing Weather, Water and Climate Resilience in North America, Central America and the Caribbean, the minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Matthew Samuda, in his address stated Kingston would be among the first places on earth to experience climate departure.
Jamaica is among countries considered to be the most vulnerable to the adverse effects of climate change. A decade ago, in 2013, the IPCC in its report projected that our capital city, Kingston, would be among the first places on earth to experience climate departure. Now this means, for those who are not members of the WMO, Kingston would experience a significant increase in temperature, which could occur starting this year. Now, that is frightening. It is indeed 2023. We have already experienced, whether we have rather already experienced that climate departure has to be determined and I think stated by the experts. However, it is impatient of debate that we are already experiencing the slow onset events associated with climate change, not just indeed in Kingston, but nationally. The projection of climate departure means that every year after this year could produce higher average temperatures than the previous year on record for the last 150 years. This represents a serious threat to human society and ecosystems alike. The features on the island itself put it at risk for the impacts of climate change. These include the geographical location in what's traditionally viewed as a hurricane and earthquake belt, as well as physical structure and a heavy dependence on natural resources for economic and social activities. The reality, friends, is that 70% of Jamaica's population live within 5 kilometers of the sea in low-lying areas.
The minister also suggested an increase in awareness, education, preparedness, prediction, and warning systems that can go a long way towards reducing the dire impacts of a natural disaster on national life.
Indeed, an increase in awareness, education, preparedness, prediction, and warning systems can go a long way towards reducing the dire impacts of a natural disaster on natural life, while measures such as zoning, land use practices, and building codes are necessary in order to prevent or reduce damage from hazards. The WMO has a number of tools at its disposal to increase early warning. Among them, systematic observation financing facilities, as well is a critical tool that LDCs and SIDS can utilize in the goal of increasing sustainable development and strengthening climate resilience. The SOFF is aimed at improving the systems of observation, which will lead to better weather forecasts and climate services. It will provide LDCs and SIDS with access to improved weather forecasts and climate analysis products, which are critical for managing extreme weather events. All sectors stand to benefit from the SOFF, particularly in agriculture and tourism, which rely heavily on weather data. There can be no question, therefore, that this facility will be a key element of in the mitigation and prevention of climate-related events, which have the ability to derail our economic and social growth, and indeed development. Here in Jamaica, over the years, we have been working to delineate disaster-prone areas and incorporate this information into planning in an attempt to reduce disaster risk and become more climate resilient. Indeed, I'm pleased to say that Jamaica was the first country in the world to begin the process, and rather to launch what we've developed and dubbed JSRAT, which is a climate risk assessment tool for major infrastructure areas under the global private sector-led Coalition for Climate Resilient Investment. Now, this project was developed by the University of Oxford and financed by the GCF.
The conference will run from February 6 to February 9. And that's our news package for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Mello TV Evening News at 8. I am Shellyan Hill. Do stay safe, pleasant viewing, and thanks for watching.